You know, there's some pretty damn good masks in the Halloween series. There's also some terrible ones. So today, let's rank the masks in the Halloween franchise.
Hey, what's up everybody? Nick here, and I realized something today. I realized that since Halloween Ends has come out, I have not done a definitive ranking, my ranking, of the Myers masks in the Halloween franchise. Now, I specify Myers masks because I'm not going to be putting any of the masks from Halloween 3 in here, though I love that movie and I love those masks. This is just going to be the Myers masks. As I said at the top and showed you at the top, there's some great masks in this series, and there's also some really friggin' bad ones. So starting it off, the bottom of the barrel, the worst mask in my opinion in the Halloween franchise is Halloween 4's mask. Now, you could be particular and specific here and say, oh, well, the Halloween 4 blonde hair pink mask is the worst one. And you're probably right. But I would put the next one, the one that's used throughout the movie, right next to it. So whether you want to get super specific or not, Halloween 4 has the worst mask output in the Halloween franchise, in my opinion. Now look, I know a lot of people have said over the years that this mask has really grown on them, and I understand that. But there is just something incredibly off-putting about this mask. See, one of the things about Myers' mask that I've always really liked is the expressionlessness or an abundance of expression. You know, sometimes I like one, sometimes I like the other. But Halloween 4 is really just nothingness there. The mask doesn't fit right on George Wilbur's face at all. I feel like it's really elongated, even though it is quite small, while at the same time being really like round. It just doesn't seem to fit his face at all. I hate the eye holes, absolutely hate them. And as I've always called it, I think it's the finger in the booty mask. It just looks like somebody making that kind of face. And I've just never dug this mask at all. So whether you want to say this one is the worst or the pink one with the blonde hair is the worst, I'm going to say they're the two worst in the Halloween franchise. Next up is going to be one that a lot of people probably have as the worst. And the only reason I didn't put it as the worst is because it's literally on screen for like 3 seconds. So it is super inoffensive because of how little you see it. But it's still offensive in the 3 seconds you see it. And that is the CGI mask from Halloween H2O. Look, I understand the backstory behind this. I get it. With all the mask controversy surrounding this film, and this being just kind of an added-in shot that they needed at the last moment, I get why they did what they did. And it's not their fault that almost 30 years later, CGI is far better than it was in 1998. But my God, this thing is an abomination. It clearly does not look like a real mask on a real person's face at all. It sticks out like a sore thumb, and it makes you want to hurt yourself. So, congratulations, Halloween H2O CGI mask. You are garbage. Next up is going to be the K&B mask from Halloween H2O, which, similar to Halloween 4, it's the same reasons why I don't like this one. It's really round. It doesn't fit the face well, I think, at all. I hate the blankness of the face. We're not talking the blankness like the original movie. No, it is literally just like a fat, pudgy, circular, like nothingness with also really weird eye holes. And it probably doesn't help that Chris Durand is known for a couple moments in this movie really giving us the eyes, which is definitely irksome to a lot of Halloween fans. And this K&B mask is absolutely booty. Now, fret not, Halloween 4 mask truthers, because this next one is going to be the Halloween 5 mask. And look, like some people that say the 4 mask has grown on them, the 5 mask has grown on me, okay? Everybody calls this one the Nick Cage now. It just kind of looks like Nick Cage. There's something about this mask that I've always really dug, and it's the fact that it looks so mean. The facial features are really, like, accentuated with this mask, so in one way, it's not really what Michael Myers was ever intended to be, but it's also kind of mean and cool. But if I'm being objective here, it's just not a great mask, and it pales in comparison to the first 2 movies' masks. The continuity in and of itself with these masks in the later sequels gets to be a problem because you're really stretching believability that this is the same guy and the same mask. And in some movies, it's not the same mask. He gets a new one. But Halloween 5's mask is supposed to be the same mask from 4, and I'm sorry, Nick Cage ain't no finger in the booty ass bitch. Next up is going to be one that a lot of people probably put higher, but I've never really been high on this mask, and that's the Halloween Resurrection mask. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the eyebrows. I don't know if it's what looks looks to be like lipstick. I don't know if it's clearly the kind of darker shade and tone they've tried to give to the mask, or even like the cheekbones that are kind of prominent on the mask. It just looks weird. It looks like Michael Myers was trying to be Leatherface, like he was putting makeup on and stuff, and it looks different. It's almost like purpley gray, and I've just never really dug it. I also really don't like when the masks in these movies look like masks and don't actually look more like a part of the character. See, I feel like that's a sign of a good mask if it really feels like that character, and this mask does not. So it's not the bottom of the barrel. It has some merit to it, but I'm not a huge fan. And now from this point forward, we start to have probably more positives than negatives with these masks, and that one is Halloween H2O's Stan Winston mask. Yes, this was the mask that was involved in a lot of the reshoots after the K&B disaster and debacle, after the H6 mask that they used for the opening sequence, and whatever the hell that CGI mask was. Look, the Stan Winston mask I feel like is solid. I do think one of the things that brings this mask down for me is Michael Myers. I think that Chris Durand is way too expressive in this mask, and I don't necessarily like that, given the continuity issues with that. If this is Michael from the original Halloween and Halloween 2, this Michael wouldn't be that way. He wasn't overly expressive. We didn't really see his eyes. We didn't get a lot of personification from him. And I feel like Chris Durand has always been just a bad choice for Michael Myers. I've never really cared for his Michael. And I'm sorry, the expressions in and of themselves kind of bring the mask down some. Next up is another one that a lot of people probably have higher, but I don't, and for good reason. And that is Halloween 2 from 1981. Now, you're going to get people in the comment section that are probably going, well, this is the exact same mask from the first movie, so how can you have this like middle of the road? If you love the first one's mask, how can you not love this one? I quite like H2's mask. I do. But when you hear the story about how they treated the mask after the original Halloween, and then you watch Halloween 2, you can really notice it. Deborah Hill said that it was basically in a box stuffed under a bed in a room where they had been smoking for 3 years. So the mask was yellow, it was a little deformed, and I don't know if it's Dick Warlock didn't fill it out as well as Nick Castle, but I think all of those factors played into why it's just middle of the road for me. When I look at the movie, it almost seems like one of the sides of the mask is a little more inward than the other, and I just don't feel like it's symmetrical on Dick Warlock's face. And I think that was wear and tear and age with this mask. So while it is cool to have that continuity of the same mask from the first movie, it is clearly showing its age in this one, and I don't think the actor they picked all that well filled it out. And then from this point forward, you're really getting into masks that I quite like. And the next one is Halloween 6, Halloween the Curse of Michael Myers. Look, similar to Halloween 5, this mask seems to have a lot more expression and personification for the character of Michael Myers. It looks human in a lot of ways, but it also looks mean. The difference is, and why it's so much higher than Halloween 5 on this list is, it looks closer to the original mask. See, Halloween 5 was cool that it was so different, and it looks like Nick Cage, but it doesn't really look like the original mask. This one looks a lot closer to that original mask while also having that very bulky, mean look to it, and I really dig it. I also think that it should not go without saying that a lot of what makes these masks in these movies sometimes is how they're shot and how they're lit. And Halloween the Curse of Michael Myers is masterfully shot. I think the cinematography in this movie, I've said for years, is phenomenal. The lighting is phenomenal, and I really think it accentuates this mean-looking mask. Next up is another one that a lot of people probably have top 3, but I'm not quite there with it, and that is Halloween 2018's mask. Look, this is a really good mask. I think it is a super well done sculpt. I think it looks very similar to the original mask, and the aging is pretty damn spot on. I don't know if any of you have had a latex mask for over 10, 20 years that you haven't had properly stored, but they really do start to look like this when they wear down. So I really think it's just accurate to what a mask would look like 40 years later, if it were still around, mind you. But I also think it really does look like a worn down, aged up version of that mask from 78. And just like Halloween 6, I think a lot of what's good about this mask sometimes too is the lighting, is the way it's shot. And again, like Halloween 6, I think that's bang on in this movie. All right, now we're in the top 5. And coming in at number 5 is going to be Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Now look, I know a lot of people say they hate this mask, but I actually don't think they really hate this mask. Because a lot of people loved Rob Zombie's Halloween's mask, and it's pretty much just the same damn thing. It's just more worn down and more aged. I think a lot of the issue with this mask was the portrayal of Michael himself in this movie. They didn't like the big jacket, they didn't like the beard, they didn't like the hoodie, but that's not really the mask's fault. Look, I think this mask is amazing. I love this mask. I have always wanted a truly great sculpt of this mask. I think the blood on it, the tears, the rips, I really love it. It is very animalistic, like Michael Myers is in this movie. And he uses it almost in that way to hide behind it when he has to enact his punishment on people. I just love it. It is like this very feral, backwoods, Rob Zombie, Halloween Michael Myers mask, and I'm here for it. Coming in at number 4 is going to be Rob Zombie's Halloween, and you could go with the clean version from the beginning of the movie or the worn down version from the second half of the movie. Either one, I'm going to put right here at 4, because I think that this mask and this sculpt by Wayne Toth was phenomenal. I think to that point, it was the best mask we had seen since 78. It was like a perfect marriage of like 78 and Halloween 6, in my opinion. It's got a lot of personality to it. It looks mean, and I also think it helps when it's on young Michael Myers to really look mean because it's so much bigger and imposing than the child is. But I also think when you get to the adult version, it fits Tyler Mane's head super well. It looks really nice worn down. I just think it is a grungy, great mask, and I think it is very much in line with the 78 mask. And again, I've said this throughout this video, and I think it cannot go without stating that sometimes it's about the mask really fitting your actor too. And I feel like when you're making a mold specifically for your actor, like they did with Tyler Mane in this movie, it really makes the mask pop more. Coming in at number 3 is going to be the Halloween Ends mask. And look, you guys are going to notice the theme here. I'm really a sucker for these like worn down versions of that original film's mask. And Halloween Ends mask is awesome. I love the fact that it has like mold on it. I love the fact that it's got the burn still. It's got blood. It's worn. It is just this disgusting, decrepit piece of latex that should not go on someone's face, yet Michael just can't help himself. I think the attention to detail with this mask is just bang on. I love it. I love that it's almost like it belongs in the sewer. You can tell it's been in this sewer for years, and Michael's just still wearing this damn thing because he can't go anywhere without it. Looking at the mask, I'm like, if I wore that, it would probably get me sick. Like, what kind of mold am I breathing in? But I love that at the same time. And one thing that is really, really, really underappreciated about the David Gordon Green trilogy is the consistency of the masks from all 3 movies. They're all just so well done, and each movie there's a natural progression from like dirtier, just disgusting, more worn down, and I freaking love that. And what's probably going to be the shock of this video, coming in at number 2 is going to be the 1978 Halloween mask. And I've heard people say before, how can you not have this at number 1? It's the blueprint. It is the mask. Without this mask, we don't have any other one. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It is the blueprint. It's great. I think it fits Nick Castle really well. It's just so ironic how Nick ended up with this role because it was just not intended at all, yet it happened and it worked perfectly. I think the mask is really ominous and spooky, and I think that it's just like, there's something about it. Like I said near the beginning of this video, sometimes that expressionless nature of the mask, not really being able to see the eyes. I'm looking at you, Halloween H2O. I just love this mask. I love this blank slate. I think it is so perfect. But it's not my favorite mask. My favorite mask in the Halloween franchise is Halloween Kills. Without a doubt, easily the best Michael Myers has ever looked on screen, in my opinion. Now, some of you might go, oh, you're not mentioning the flashback mask from the, 1978 flashback and Kills. Yeah, I didn't really include that one, and if you guys wanted me to include it, I will just say that that would absolutely be top 5. That mask is incredible as well. I think it's the best recreation of that original 78 mask. It's great. But I'm specifically talking about the mask we see throughout most of the movie in Halloween Kills. Look, I was someone that liked 2018's mask a lot, but I was never in love with it. I felt like it could be a little bit better. Halloween Kills is all that in a bag of chips. It's got more wear and tear from that first movie, but I absolutely love, for the first time ever, that burned latex. I think that look is so frigging gnarly. And it also helps that they're surrounding Michael and shooting Michael in these like orange hues and red hues, and they're really just making this guy look badass in this movie. So again, it might also just be part of like the cinematography, but my God, this mask is easily my favorite mask in the series. I think it's so mean, but I also think at the same time it is so Michael. And I don't really know how else to put it other than that. So that is my list. That is my ranking of the masks in the Halloween franchise. I want to hear down below in the comment section how you would rank the masks from worst to best. Do you agree with some of what I said, or do you disagree? Whatever it is you've got to add to this here conversation about the Myers masks, add to it down below in that comment section. I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please leave a like on it, subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends, your cousin, your dog, whatever you do, just share it, get the word out for your boy. We're about to hit 7K subs. I am eternally grateful to you guys. I hope you really enjoyed this. I will be back with more Halloween content later this week, so thank you guys so much for watching. This is Nick of the Lost River Drive-In, and I'm pulling out.